So the Habs are going to play off against the Buffalo Sabres in about an hour and a half-ish, and that is definitely going to take up the majority of Canadians' attention span over the next few hours, so I don't expect this video to get too many hits right away. But I do think this video needs to be made because we had ourselves some really interesting updates in regards to the top prospect in Montreal and a guy whom Kent Hughes and Vinny Lecavalier, of all people, have actually decided to see over today's Buffalo Sabres and Montreal Canadiens festivities. This is because Kent Hughes will not be here for this hockey game. Instead, he's across the entire gosh darn world to see Ivan Demidov, who was placed back on the third line earlier today as SKA St. Petersburg took on Lokomotiv Yaroslavl. The game was earlier this morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, and if you take a look at the lines here, you can see that Ivan Demidov was indeed placed on that third line. His former center in Evgeny Kuznetsov is now on the first line, so unfortunately that pairing was not reunited. But in a stint where Ivan Demidov has been given so few minutes after so few minutes after so few minutes, he is finally back out there onto the third line. And we had ourselves some comments that might rationalize and explain why everything's going down this way. Demidov got the MVP in the 3v3 tournament in front of his coach. It kind of reminded him that he's actually good at the game. Go get a goal to stay in the lineup. And then a reply says, oh, he got the MVP in the 3v3 tournament. Kind of reminded him he's good at the game. Go get benched in the third period. Yeah, that's also kind of poking fun at the situation. But the question is this really the reason why Ivan Demidov is now all of a sudden back in the third line position? Did he just have a good tournament and the coach was reminded that he's good? Well, turns out we might actually have another reason, because there were some very important guests in attendance. They showed Vinny Lecavalier on the big screen in Russia. Lecavalier is there. That's probably the reason. And indeed, we saw Vinny Lecavalier make a guest appearance on the broadcast because the camera panned over to him and he was very clearly in the crowd of this Russian hockey game. Not only was Vinny Lecavalier there, but it was also tweeted out by Renaud Lavoie, Kent Hughes is also in Russia to see Ivan Demidov play. Lecavalier was shown on TV during the game earlier today, and so with all this, Kent Hughes is literally across the entire gosh darn world watching Ivan Demidov. He's not going to be in Montreal to watch the Habs play off against the Buffalo Sabres. That is, unless, I don't know what the entire flight times are like. Let's actually Google that. I'm not really too sure how all this works. 2,000 kilometers. How long is a 2,000 kilometer flight? I have no idea. But my understanding of geography says that maybe, most likely, Kent Hughes does not find himself in the Bell Center to watch the Habs play off against the Sabres unless he took the beeline and decided to say, okay, screw it, we are going all the way back immediately after the game concluded, which, by the way, if you wanted to get the scoop, take a look at this tweet made by Alex Jodoin. Ivan Demidov finished the game with 10 minutes of time on ice. He was also able to register 3 shots. He was easily the best player on his line. Rottenberg used him when SKA was trailing, which is good, but most likely due to the fact that Kent Hughes and Lecavalier were there. SKA is now 15-11. They will play again Thursday at 11:30 against Torpedo. And included is a very great image. I mean, Ivan Demidov looks like he's having the time of his life in this picture, totally not looking all too frustrated there. But furthermore, expanding upon Kent Hughes and Vinny Lecavalier being in Russia to watch Ivan Demidov, not only do we have memes, I mean, Alex tweeted this out as well. Kent Hughes was just seen leaving Russia at the St. Petersburg airport. There are reports flying around that Demidov is nowhere to be found, and the authorities are looking into it. Yeah, I don't think Kent Hughes looks like The Rock. Actually, if you look just above the eyebrows, they both look really similar. I've noticed that right away, but all Alexander McGillney defection fleeing stories aside, we did have ourselves a very interesting interview done with Roman Rottenberg earlier today about Ivan Demidov and the Canadiens people coming to visit. This article will be linked in the description. It's in Russian. I had to translate it to English via the Google machine. People showed respect by flying in. We will have talks tomorrow. SKA head coach Roman Rottenberg said about Montreal representatives being at the same game versus Lokomotiv Yaroslavl. This article was written by Artyom Markov. It'll be linked in the description. Let's go out there and read this. After the game against Lokomotiv, SKA head coach Roman Rottenberg said that he appreciates the attention of Montreal executives to their team, and in particular, Ivan Demidov. On Tuesday, SKA lost to Lokomotiv with a score of 2-3 in a home match of the Fonbet KHL Championship. The meeting took place at SKA Arena. At the start of the season, SKA St. Petersburg hosted their opponents at the Ice Palace. Yeah, by the way, this is like some pretty recent news, but SKA St. Petersburg, they formerly played at the Ice Palace, but now they have the new SKA Arena, which is amazing. It had overtaken the Bell Center for the #1 seating capacity hockey arena in the world, and the interior, it looks beautiful. It looks so nice on the outside as well. It's a new arena. It's looking really nice, and of course, I mean, they have to go out there and flex the arena. That's exactly what Roman Rottenberg says here, too. And so the interviewer asks Roman Rottenberg, the Montreal management was present at the game. Did this put any pressure on Demidov? Rottenberg's reply is so funny here. We are always happy when guests come to us. Today, they were at the arena, which is rightfully considered the best in the world. When I was at the arena in Montreal 20 years ago, at that time, it was the best in the world. And today, the best is in St. Petersburg. They also watched our game. We will definitely compare the style of play of our team to the NHL teams. We always exchange experiences. We will definitely discuss how Ivan Demidov is developing, adding, and how to improve his implementation. Ivan also had good scoring chances. Sometimes he was looking for an extra pass. With a team like Lokomotiv, it's better to not look for an extra pass but to take responsibility for it. We will definitely discuss this. People showed respect by flying to us. They flew around the world. We will have negotiations tomorrow. The Match TV correspondent reports, Roman Rottenberg's words. SKA is in 5th place in the Western Conference with 44 points. Now, this is a really interesting phrase. We will have negotiations tomorrow. What does that mean? Well, I think common consensus is that this phrasing is just kind of a lost in translation thing, because negotiations to me says, oh, we're going to negotiate something. We're going to try to work something out. We're going to work a deal. Maybe Ivan Demidov goes to Montreal, but really, I think negotiations can be replaced with discussions instead. Yeah, we'll have discussions. Like, we'll talk about the differences between NHL and KHL play, and we'll also talk about Ivan Demidov's development. Ivan Demidov, of course, has had this sort of strange year so far, where this dude, Roman Rottenberg, is either playing Demidov as much as he probably should be, or maybe not even playing him at all. It's so up and down the way that Demidov has been treated with SKA this season. And so now that the police are in the building, now that Kent Hughes and Vinny Lecavalier are there to watch the game live, Roman Rottenberg's like, okay, I'm going to play him. Like, I need to actually give him minutes now. Let's put him on the third line, actually give him a role in the team. He have 10 minutes of time on ice today, and it's totally different from everything else that he has been greeted with in the recent sample of SKA play. And it's also very interesting how when they asked, hey, Montreal guys were present at the game, how much pressure did this put on Demidov? He then goes out there and starts talking about how the arena in St. Petersburg is better than the arena in Montreal. Like, what? This does not have anything to do with the question that was asked. It's so interesting, man. So I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the spicier details about this Ivan Demidov development and how Kent Hughes and Vinny Lecavalier decided to make their mark themselves by going and watching the game live. I don't think they have enough time to get back onto a plane and start watching Montreal versus Buffalo in Montreal, so it seems like they might have themselves an opportunity to scout Ivan Demidov a little bit longer. And the interesting thing about this is that the next SKA game on Thursday is against Torpedo. Guess who is on Torpedo? Another Montreal Canadiens prospect in Bogdan Konyushkov. So who knows, if SKA and Torpedo play off against each other in 2 days and we have two Habs prospects playing in that game, maybe Kent Hughes and Lecavalier stay and watch that one live too. Who really knows? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about this weird Ivan Demidov update. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.